Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a minute since I made a video. Matter of fact, I made one or made two a couple weeks ago, and for some reason it didn't accept, so they got lost in the heavens of the technology world, I guess, and they never got uploaded. And those were the recap races of the Labor Day weekend MSCA deals. But anyway, a little bit of deal from last night over at Riverside Speedway is in Huffman Motorsports deal. We parked it, as BC would say. We parked it in late model over at Riverside. Had the car dialed in and passed Nathan Brown after about, I don't know, a quarter of the way through the race, and never looked back. The sprint car, we run third in the heat, and the car was working pretty good. But in the feature, the car just didn't like the track. It didn't like something. It wouldn't produce anything. He he spun out a few times, but kept going. And on one account, he spun and got hit by another car, but he kept going. And the other car that hit him ended up spinning, and then somebody else hit him and knocked him out of the race. Lengthy caution that it was, and a lot of other cars began overheating and stuff like that. So the first thing I want to do is apologize to all the ones that under that caution overheated, and I had to pull off, because of it. So I apologize on that. It's not the way we normally run. We just on the sprint car part. It just that's it's something that I believe 2 weeks ago when TJ was running and he hit the wall and broke the chassis in a couple places. I think that's there's something else there that we haven't found yet that's keeping the car upset. We found a few things last night after the race was over with that could possibly have something to do with it. But then again, it may not. I don't know till we further investigate it. Right now, we're just on the fence. I got another chassis down there. We're kind of weighing our options right now. So close to the end of the year, do we want to put the other car together, or try to figure out what's wrong with this one, and maybe it may be a quick fix, and then again it may be a lengthy fix. I don't expect my car to be at the track every single weekend. I'd like it to be, but I don't expect it to be. Because he's just learning a learning process for TJ Steele. So we're weighing our options right now. It all depends on what we find wrong with it. When I first got this sprint car deal together, I know TJ always wanted to, run a sprint. It's something that he wanted. He drove for Ronnie a couple times in it, and he liked it, and that's one of the reasons why I got mine. And I couldn't be more happy that I chose TJ to be my driver in the sprint. I've been a sponsor of his since 2012, 2013 or something like that. He's got multiple championships in the late model division. And honestly, when I got him to do the sprint car deal, I wasn't expecting the finishes that he has given me so far, and I couldn't be more happy that I got such a wheel man in my car. I believe that the engine that I got is a Hoss. I may not have the brand new equipment, stuff like that, but I do believe that he is a contender. He's already proven it. Just by his driving abilities and how he's adapted to a sprint car already, and I believe in him. If he doesn't ever win a feature, it don't matter. I mean, as long as we run good and we finish good, I'm satisfied. Because we're out there to have fun. I'm not there to make a living. I'm just there. It's a hobby of mine I've always liked, and TJ's the same one. Racing's in our blood. Sure, we'd love to sit in victory lane many times, and who knows? If we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. But as long as we can go out there and get some good, solid finishes, hey, everything's all good. Hell, it's hard to beat Eddie Gallagher. He's got 9 million years experience, and Brad Bowden is a well experienced driver as well. And those two are hard to beat on any given night. Can they be beat? Yeah. Is it going to be us? Who knows? Only time will tell. But like I said, I couldn't be more happy with TJ. I'm glad that I accepted him as my wheel man. In the sprint. He's already proven that he can get the job done by the solid top 5 finishes we've had this year. Second night in the car, we were running, up in top 5. And, he drives the car, like it is built to drive. We're not out there to, just put around the track. We're there for one goal: go to the front. Further up front you go, better we are. And, like I said, he won the late model feature over Riverside last night, and I would like to spend a little bit more time in victory lane, to celebrate and everything else. But, we're running 2 classes, and, we just didn't have the time, to celebrate because the sprint cars were running directly after late models. So, we just didn't have that amount of time, but we took a few more extra pictures when the races was over with, and I also want to thank the crew that was down there helping, Ricky and Gene, and of course Becky and all the kids, Gracie, Addie, Chandler. Team effort. We all got the job done. Me, I don't work on the car. I could, but I don't. Just health reasons, it don't allow me to do that. I will if I have to, but I prefer not to. I'd rather sit up in the stands and watch and everything. And, this way TJ, he can make his own decisions on what needs to be done with the car, because it's a learning process for him, and I want him to learn, and he's getting there. But anyway, I hate to waste up too much of y'all's time, so we will see y'all again next video that I make. We'll be at Riverside again next weekend, and y'all come on out, support the sport. Team 19 Junior, thank our sponsors, Huffman Motorsports, James Auto Repair and Collision, Shocks by Carver, RE Technologies, Gleaves Record Service, and thank my driver TJ Hughes. And hey, y'all come on out. And also Bell Helmets. Can't forget Bell. They're important as well. So y'all come on out and catch up some Huffman Motorsports Hughes Racing. Come on. Have a good one.